Be me. 22-year-old female, grew up in wealthy suburb outside major city. Dad owns chain of car dealerships. Mom is real estate agent. Always had everything handed to me. Never worried about money. Went to private school, got brand new BMW for 16th birthday. College was paid for. Lived in nice apartment with no job. Always assumed poor people just made bad choices or didn't work hard. If they really wanted to succeed, they'd find a way. Constantly posting on social media about personal responsibility. Graduate with marketing degree, expect dad to give me job at dealership. Plan to work there for few years, then start my own business. Dad surprises me by saying, I need real-world experience first. You don't understand what work actually means. Tells me to get entry-level job somewhere and prove myself. Will match whatever I earn for first year as motivation. Figure this will be easy. How hard can minimum wage work be? Applied a bunch of retail stores and restaurants near campus. Assume my college degree makes me overqualified for everything. Shocked when most places don't even call me back. Finally get hired at chain restaurant as server. Manager seems skeptical during interview, but needs staff desperately. Training is harder than expected. Memorizing menu takes forever. Carrying multiple plates while walking fast is surprisingly difficult. Uniform is uncomfortable polyester that makes me sweat constantly. First day on floor is complete disaster. Mess up 3 orders within first hour. Drop tray of drinks on family with small children. Forget to put orders into kitchen computer system. Tables get angry, waiting 45 minutes for food that was never made. Other servers have to fix my mistakes while doing their own work. Go home exhausted after 6-hour shift. Feet hurt so bad I can barely walk to my car. Never experienced physical pain from working before. Wake up next morning with sore legs and blisters on feet. Dread going back, but need to prove I'm not quitter. Second week slightly better, but still struggling with basics. Customers are incredibly rude and demanding. Complain about everything from temperature to wait times. Many don't tip or leave pocket change on $50 bills. Work my ass off for 2 hours serving table of 8 people. They leave $3 on a $120 check. Realize that without tips, I'm making maybe $4 per hour. Some shifts I earn less than $30 for 8 hours work. Gas money to get to work costs almost $15 daily. Paycheck after 2 weeks is $180 before taxes. After taxes, it's about $140 for 60 hours of work. Less than $2.50 per hour when you factor in fees and uniform costs. Completely shocked that people survive on this income. Start paying attention to coworkers' living situations. Most have multiple roommates or live with parents. Many work second jobs to make ends meet. Jessica works here mornings, cleans offices at night. Maria does lunch shift here, dinner shift at another restaurant. Nobody has health insurance through work. Several people come to work sick because can't afford missing shifts. Watch coworker Mike limp through entire shift on injured ankle. Can't afford doctor visit or time off for recovery. Just keeps working while ankle gets worse. Start understanding why people seem tired and stressed constantly. Working 50, 60 hours per week just to afford basic necessities. No money left over for entertainment, clothes, or emergencies. Third week, realize how expensive everything becomes when you're poor. Car breaks down, repair estimate is $800. That's more than I make in month at restaurant. Parents would normally just pay for it without thinking. Now I understand why poor people drive unreliable cars. Can't afford good car, but need car to get to work. Endless cycle of expensive repairs on cheap vehicles. Coworker tells me about payday loan place near restaurant. Charges 400% interest but gives cash immediately. Only way to handle emergencies when you're broke. Realize that being poor makes everything more expensive. Overdraft fees, late payment penalties, predatory lending. Banks and businesses profit from people's desperation. Fourth week, experience what it's like to be truly tired, working doubles most days just to make decent money. Get home at midnight, back at work by 9 a.m. Constantly exhausted but can't afford to turn down shifts. Start making mistakes due to fatigue. drop more plates, forget orders, move slower. Customers get angry, tips get worse. Downward spiral, where being tired makes you earn less money. Watch other servers drink energy drinks constantly. Some take caffeine pills or worse just to stay alert. Understand why people turn to substances to cope with exhaustion. Fifth week, learn about workplace politics and favoritism. Managers play favorites with scheduling and table assignments. Good sections go to servers who flirt or have connections. Newer employees get worse shifts and difficult customers. Work twice as hard as some people, but make half as much. Scheduling is done week to week with no consistency. Can't plan anything because don't know when you'll work. Some weeks get 40 hours, other weeks get 15. Impossible to budget when income fluctuates wildly. Managers use scheduling as weapon to control employees. Speak up about unfair treatment. Hours get cut immediately. Sixth week, deal with sexual harassment from customers. Middle-aged men make inappropriate comments constantly. Smile more, sweetie, you'll get better tips. Grab my arm or try to touch me while taking orders. Manager tells me it's part of the job. Just ignore it. Need the money? So have to tolerate being treated like object. Watch male customers treat female servers like entertainment. Expect us to laugh at crude jokes and accept unwanted touching. Refusing advances means smaller tips and angry customers. Realize that minimum wage jobs often include unpaid emotional labor. Seventh week, experience healthcare crisis while uninsured. Get food poisoning, probably from expired ingredients at work. Can't afford emergency room, visit or urgent care. Lie in bed for 2 days hoping it passes naturally. Miss 3 shifts, lose $90 in wages. Manager threatens to fire me for unreliable attendance. Catch-22. Where getting sick costs money you don't have. Other employees share horror stories of working while ill. Can't afford to miss work even when contagious. Eighth week, understand why people get trapped in poverty. Want to look for better job, but don't have time. Working 6 days a week just to pay basic expenses. No energy left for job hunting or skill development. Can't afford to take time off for interviews. Better jobs require clothes I can't afford. Need car for transportation, but can't afford maintenance. Educational opportunities cost money I don't have. Start seeing how poverty becomes self-perpetuating cycle. Ninth week, witness how management treats workers. Constant threats about being easily replaceable. There's 50 people who would take your job tomorrow. No respect for employees' time or personal lives. Schedule changes at last minute without consideration. Expect people to find childcare on few hours' notice. Fire people for minor infractions while overlooking favorites. Treat workers like disposable machines rather than humans. Start understanding why people hate their jobs and bosses. 10th week, realize how isolated poverty makes you. Can't afford to go out with friends or maintain social life. Everything costs money that I don't have. Movies, drinks, dinner, even coffee dates become luxury. Friends from college drift away because can't participate. Social life becomes limited to free activities. Start hanging out with coworkers because they understand. Different world from privileged background I came from. 11th week, experience utility shutoff notice. Forget to pay electric bill on time due to exhaustion. Get warning that power will be disconnected. Panic about losing food and refrigerator. Borrow money from coworker to avoid shutoff. Understand why poor people sometimes have bad credit. Not because they're irresponsible, but because they're overwhelmed. Managing multiple bills on a regular income is incredibly difficult. 12th week, watch coworker get evicted from apartment. Maria can't make rent after missing week of work for sick child. Landlord has no sympathy for her situation. Has to move in with relatives, sleep on couch. Still comes to work every day despite personal crisis. Realize how close everyone is to homelessness. One emergency or missed paycheck away from losing everything. Housing costs eat up most of minimum wage income. 13th week, experience workplace injury. Slip on wet floor in kitchen, twist knee badly. Manager acts like it's my fault for being clumsy. No workers' compensation for part-time employees. Have to keep working on injured knee or lose wages. Pain gets worse but can't afford medical treatment. Understand why workplace safety violations are common. Employees afraid to report problems that might cost them jobs. 14th week. Calculate how long it would take to save money. At current wages, would take 6 months to save $1,000. That's assuming no emergencies or unexpected expenses. Realize why poor people can't build wealth or invest. Every dollar goes to immediate survival needs. No opportunity to save for future or build assets. Start understanding generational poverty cycles. 15th week, get written up for attitude problems. Apparently, I seem unhappy and unmotivated lately. Manager doesn't understand that exhaustion affects mood. Working constantly for poverty wages is soul-crushing. Hard to maintain enthusiasm when treated poorly. Other employees warn me about getting fired. Need to fake happiness even when miserable. Emotional labor of pretending everything is fine. 16th week, quit without notice after particularly bad day. Customer screams at me for kitchen being slow. Throws food and demands refund plus free meal. Manager takes customer's side and blames me. Realize I'm being treated worse than I'd treat an animal. Walk out in middle of shift, never go back. Have new appreciation for people who work these jobs. Understand why turnover is so high in service industry. Call dad and admit that minimum wage work is harder than expected. Agree to work at dealership, but with completely different perspective. Never again will I judge people for their economic situation. Understand that poverty is often a result of systemic problems, not personal failings or lack of effort. Working class people are some of hardest working people I've met. They deserve respect and living wages for their labor. Completely changed my political views about minimum wage. Supports raising it to level where people can actually survive. Realize that my privileged background blinded me to reality. Most people don't have safety net that I had. Experience taught me empathy and respect for working people.